Hello folks, I'm the Old Sergeant. I have a few thoughts on the outcome of the Russian-Ukraine war. First, let's look at why the Russians invaded Ukraine. Russia has experienced three major invasions in its history: by the Mongols in the 13th century, Napoleon in 1812, and Hitler in 1941. Russia wants to control the major invasion routes into their country. As such, they want to control all the geographic locations you can easily send tanks and troops through. The Soviet Union had control of these areas. After the breakup of the USSR, Russia lost control of most of these locations. This map shows the territory desired by the Russians. They include all or part of Ukraine, Belarus, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Hungary, Romania, and Moldova. Russia considers control of these areas as existential for the continued existence of the Russian nation-state. Ukraine was just the first for strategic reasons. They thought taking Ukraine would be easy, and then they could move on to the other countries. This is a graph of Russian demographics. Ideally, the graph, which represents age, should be pyramid-shaped. If you look at the bottom showing the children, you see the demographic collapse of the Russian ethnicity. The collapse may be even worse, as the Russians could be manipulating the numbers. Though it is widely believed Putin would not have invaded if Trump was president, Russia was at the end of the period they could invade anyone. The Russians were running out of military-aged men. They are dying as an ethnicity. As a comparison, here's the American demographic chart. While not a pyramid, its pillar shape is still one of the healthiest in the Western world. While the fog of war makes exact numbers impossible to obtain, the numbers of dead on both sides is well into the hundreds of thousands. Russia was low on military-aged males to begin with. Now they have managed to kill off a large percentage of their productive family-raising men. All Putin has managed to do was accelerate the collapse of Russia. Many of the military-aged Ukrainian men escaped the country before they could be drafted. Those that remained and were drafted were up against a military force that massively outnumbered them. Casualties are high. While the Russian demographics were bad, the Ukrainian demographics are disastrous. A large percentage of the military-aged productive males are or will be killed. Women of childbearing age have left the country. Most of those left are the old and infirm. The harsh truth is, the West is fighting a proxy war against the Russians to the last Ukrainian soldier, in the hopes that the Russian military will be depleted to the point they will not have the capability of invading another country. The war has destabilized the Russian government, as the people do not believe in the war and the loss of their young men. High-ranking military leaders are disappearing. The Russian ethnicity will be all but gone by the end of the century. Russia will break up into its regional ethnic groups. They will no longer be a threat to the world. Ukraine will be a devastated and disastrous landscape, bereft of the young men and women needed to rebuild. The women are gone, and without the young men, have no reason to return. The real danger to the world is those Russians in control of the nuclear weapons decide that if Russia is going down, they are taking the rest of the world with them. This has been stated by both military leaders and civilian media commentators. Whatever the outcome, both Russia and Ukraine lose, and maybe we all lose. I'm the Old Sergeant. Stay informed, prepared, active, prayerful, thankful, and as always, stay vigilant.